each other. Larry Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio on the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000 is the number to call after the first break. There was something I was thinking about recently, and it was about a time I spent when I was with a company as a public officer, running a sales group, multiple offices, sales reps. And one of the people who was helping me out on my team came to me and said, Larry, look, I'm giving you this great report. And it was a weekly report and had details of every single sales rep, what they were doing, calls they were making. It was very detailed. And I thought, great, that sounds amazing. And she spent time every week putting it together. So I asked her, I said, you give this to me weekly? She said, yeah, I could do it weekly. I said, that's wonderful. But you know, our sales cycle here is monthly. She went, yeah. So since our sales cycle's monthly, I'm not going to know what's actually happening except on a monthly basis. That's when I'm going to start making changes. I train my team every week, so I see how that's working, and then I want to make changes on a monthly basis. She went, great, but I could do it weekly. I expressed again, I get it. I don't require it weekly. I require it monthly. She was kind of shocked. Well, okay, but then I'll give you all this data. I said, I don't require all this data unless I'm going to make changes. I require 4 criteria from each sales rep. If these criteria are all good and our numbers are going where I want them to go and they're following what I want, we're good. I will deal with that individually if I need to. I don't require the details. And if I find a hole in those 4 criteria, I can then go to that sales rep, or if it's something bigger, I can fix something bigger. That's what I need. That's sufficient for me. That's how I know when to act and how to act. And she went, but I can give you all this data. I said, I know. I just don't need it unless these 4 criteria show me there's a problem. I don't require all the data. Now, you might say to yourself, but Larry, don't you want all that data? Yeah, when I need it. Otherwise, why would I? Well, Larry, what's the harm in having more data? Because this woman was very savvy and very smart and very talented. I don't want her wasting her time on something I'm not going to use. That's why. I want her to spend her time on stuff that makes the most sense for the company. And not just for that. I want her work to be used. I don't want her to think I'm busting my rump and no one's paying attention. I'm busting my rump and nobody cares. That's not what I want. I wanted her to be efficient, not busy. And that's a problem. Because very often we see being busy as somehow valuable. Well, she worked hard. Wonderful. Is she giving real value? Well, maybe not. Well, that's not her fault. True. That isn't. That's the leader's fault. The leader is supposed to take the talent and make sure the talent is doing what's valuable. That's what the leader does, right? Doing things that's valuable. It isn't the worker's fault if they're doing things that aren't, but we have to make sure it's being efficient, effective. That's what good leadership is about. You might go, Larry, that sounds amazing in the private sector. It does. And most of the best businesses are finding that to be true. The more efficient they are, the best way they can use their talent. Their talent tends to be happy if they're doing things that they see as valuable, that people are paying attention to, that make impact. Most workers, I mean, some don't care, but most workers like their work to be valuable. Most people do. That's a leader's job to ensure that's happening. Is that happening in government? Oh, no, it is not. Not even close, which is why you find so many government employees unhappy. So many of them down. So many of them can't wait till they retire. So many of them just marking time, going through emotions. Is it because they're bad people? No. Most people became a government employee for one of two reasons. One, they thought, it's a good job. It's fine. Lots of people get jobs because of that. Or two, they thought, I want to help out and do something important. Both valuable reasons to get a job. Good. But then why do so many of them become so bitter? Because they're not efficient, and it isn't their fault. And when they try to be efficient, it doesn't work. Why are so many of our elected officials, congressmen, assemblymen, senators, why are they so negative and nasty and angry? Because they can't get anything done either. Why did they quit? Quitting in droves this year. Can't wait to get out. They can't make any impact. What they're doing, what they're saying, doesn't matter. What do they start doing? Marking time. Waiting until they can get their retirement. Waiting until they can get their cool, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, Newsmax, whatever, gig, and then they leave. We see it constantly. Efficiency does matter. So, of course, Mr. Elon Musk walks up and says, I got you. We're going to make DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. Got you. DOGE is here. He's going to fix it. Well, he found out, no. He found out couldn't make that happen as well as he thought either. Couldn't do it. Why? Because he was wrong? No, he was actually right. His ideas and concepts of being more efficient, they are correct. The problem is, how do you work that in government? When government, generally speaking, government always is worried about the work, not the outcome, the intent, not the effects. More than anything, not even close. So how can you be efficient when your goal is to virtue signal? When your goal is feels. It's my feels. Not effectiveness. That's for stupid people. Who wants that? So can a DOGE actually work? Can a DOGE work in New York State? What if some guy or gal became governor and wanted to create a DOGE in some way, shape, or form? Could it be done? Could it work in New York State? One of the most bloated bureaucracies in the world. A budget bigger than Texas. A budget bigger than Florida. In fact, double Florida. And both of those states have more people than New York State. Both of those states have a better, meaning fairer, equity when it comes to income inequality. Better for them than New York State. How's that possible? Could it work? My argument is yes. Yes, it could. My argument is yes, it could, but not through bodies, through technology. We'd have to make this in a way that would be two-tiered. Tier one, AI goes through. Tier two, individual people and groups begin to take care of things and to ship things, get them out. You could do that. Now, here's the problem. You would be asking people to fire themselves. Yeah, it's going to be hard. That's the tough part. So you probably couldn't have the individual people doing it for themselves. You probably couldn't. But the second you even began it, started it. The second you started it, you would watch other departments become more efficient because they'd be afraid that they would be next. So once the system would go through one department, you would watch other departments go, oh my God, it's going to come for us. I got to fix it before they come and fix me, because then I might be gone. So I better be more efficient before I'm gone. How can you do this? 3 different ways you could do it. Maybe 4. But number 1, you could simply go through regulations, not even laws. Leave the laws away for now. I mean, they're coming. But for now, start with regulations. Just have AI go through regulations. Pick one group: Department of Buildings, Board of Elections, Board of Regions for Education. You pick. We start one of them. AI goes through and we ask them, what regulations are not being used? What regulations only cause more bureaucracy but are no longer valid? Just doing that, you'd find things like in the building codes where they talk about things like cold chutes. That's a thing. Dumbbell architecture in New York City, things like that. Things that are relevant now. No one does anymore. Doesn't matter. But we have to go through it and look at it. Things that become arbitrary, things that become selective that I can punish. That's piece 1. Go through, look at it to remove. Pull them out. Why do we have them anymore? Cutting everything down to make sure it's easier and more effective. Piece number 1. But it's the second piece of regulations. Once I've done that and people start seeing how bad it is, people start recognizing, why do we have this? Why do I have a 25,000 page code when it should be a 2,000 page code? Piece 1. What does that do? Larry, if we're not using these laws, why do you care? Because sometimes we do when we hate our enemies, number 1, so it's unfair. But number 2, why am I taking the time and energy to have my inspectors learn a 25,000 page code when they should learn 2,000 page code? Waste of time, money, energy. Lawyers, accountants, inspectors, builders, waste of time. Get rid of it. But the second piece, inspectors, just human beings. That's all they are. Why can't we use AI to do every initial inspection? For whatever the case may be. I submit my paperwork, let AI review it. Larry, AI can make a mistake. True, so can a human. Absolutely. But if AI makes a mistake, if it does, there's still a human to review, which is fine. No worries. If there are any things that are unfair, and AI could be unfair, absolutely. It's unfair fairly, not because that guy hooked me up. And it makes any sense. So unfairness fairly, maybe, and then we can adjust it. This shifts things, makes it fairer for everyone for regulations and inspections. Am I crazy? Is there more? Probably yes to both. You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio, the voice of liberty. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
Bob Savage here again for Aaron Moore. You're probably trying to head off staggering heating bills this bitter winter without shivering and dressing in layers indoors.
Good thing you can do what so many have discovered, that you can slash your heating costs this fall and winter with Aaron Moore infrared zone heaters while cranking down your furnace. Even better, Aaron Moore heat is quiet, clean, and even, and healthier. No burning of oxygen and particulates to dry out your nose, sinuses, and skin. And Aaron Moore heaters are completely safe for children and pets. No exposed hot surfaces or
heating elements to pose shock or fire hazards. Choose the best-selling Comfort Deluxe or the compact Comfort Buddy for smaller areas. Enter discount code WYSL in your shopping cart and save. Free shipping in the continental USA. Copper PTC technology means there are no bulbs to replace ever. Built like a battleship, maintenance-free air and more infrared zone heaters are the way to really save on heating bills like we do at the Voice of Liberty. Call 800-707-8725 or visit air-more.com.
Hey, if you like history and you like airplanes, the National Warplane Museum in Geneseo, New York is the place to go. Tours, exhibits, events, vintage aircraft, and more. Visit nationalwarplanemuseum.com for more details.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty, 585-346-3000. Yep, I've been talking about how can we actually use a DOGE in New York State. I think it can be done. It wouldn't be that easy, but it could be done. Patty gives the, I think, obvious retort. So people lose jobs to AI and end up on social services. Great plan. Well, to be forward, Patty, that's the current plan. That's not my plan. That's the current plan. You're seeing it where you are. I'm seeing it where I am already. Everywhere. Florida's collapsing. Employment's collapsing. You're seeing it everywhere. But if you remember from my plan, outside of this one, I've been talking about ownership of assets. The people who are making money right now, where the economy is very good for, and the economy is good for a group of people. That group of people, Patty, is people who have assets. It's great for them. They're killing it. Here's the issue. Most of us don't have assets. Well, if, as I've talked about, local people having ownership of their energy resources, as I mentioned before, nuclear power plants as an example, hospitals as an example. Well, now you have assets, Patty. So now when we got to use all the AI resources, which costs all that energy, well, if your community is smart and takes some type of energy power plant, like a nuclear power plant, you get paid. You get support. That's a much better plan. The current plan is what you're saying. I don't like that plan. I'm trying to change that. Not just that. Housing's expensive, as I'm sure you know. Worse here where I am in New York City. Worse.
Lorraine.
Worse than where you are. If we made this happen, you could build easier, which means more housing, which means cheaper housing. So now more people have an opportunity to actually own homes. And you also know I'm about rent to own. If we could rent to own, more ownership. Assets is the future of this nation, Patty. Not jobs. Jobs matter. Salaries matter. But assets. Community assets, I'm fine with that too. Hope that answers your question. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Lorraine. Lorraine, how are you?
I'm thrilled to hear what your plan is, and I have two thoughts. One, I didn't hear you say. You're inviting people to do their own DOGE work, which ought to be great. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, because I'm running low on charge. And I wanted to tell you, I wish you'd print that entire thing just the way you said it and distribute it somehow to many folks, because I thought you'd put an enormous amount of insight and planning into what you said, you know.
Thank you, Lorraine. That's amazing. Yes,
yeah,
auditing is important. Go ahead.
The best part is you're inviting them to participate. And how can they criticize DOGE work if they're helping with it?
My exact point. It also includes something else, which is transparency. You are correct. It's transparency. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate the call. Yes. Look, she's right. The reality of it is this could be done with regulations first, but more, right? I just said regulations. It could be more than that. It could be rules for, again, elections. It could be rules for building. It could be rules for schools. It could be rules for small local areas, all types of things. You begin with that. Everyone can see it, look it over, and begin to pull it apart to make it more effective. But I'm going to go one further. What about boards? Are the boards being effective? What are they doing? Go through all what they're doing. Go through their notes. Go through something more important. What we see all the time across New York State is a thing called public comment. For those of you who know. Public comment is supposed to when the public comes out and says what they think, what they care about. And then what's supposed to happen is the government thugs who are listening, yes, I said government thugs, who are listening, the paid thugs, the bought and paid for empty suits who are listening, and the terrible judges who should just want to vomit on what they become. They listen, ignore us, and do what they want. Well, what if we used AI and said, wait a minute, let's analyze the public comment and then analyze the actions taken. And what we will find out is that they don't care about public comment. And public comment is a colossal waste of time. So what should we be doing? Punishing people who don't pay attention to public comment. How can we? Through something like this. Very simple. AI it, go through it, look at it. Here's my argument. My argument is every single time I go to public comment, people say they don't want it. And every single time they say they don't want it, you government thugs still do it. You bought and paid for activists still do it. Well, that has to end. Or why do we have public comment? Even that could work. I'll go one step further. Laws. Go through all of our laws. The thousands and thousands of useless laws that we have in New York State. Go through all of them. Which ones are valuable? Which ones aren't? Which ones haven't been used in 100 years? Which ones haven't been used in 50 years? Which ones are just wrong? Which ones are redundant and just allow a DA to stack a bunch of charges for the same thing? Which is that? Get rid of those too. Now we have an office of the pardon, an office of the repeal. Start pardoning laws that weren't valid, that some DA put up against someone because they were scared and scared them into pleading. And then repeal laws don't matter. Oh my God, easily done. I think a DOGE could be used to go through regulations, to go through boards and public comment, and to go through laws to actually make us more efficient. Judges will tell you all the time, ignorance of the law is no excuse. How insanely stupid is that? Yes, I just said they're stupid. It's embarrassing. Nobody listening can know all the laws that affect them. There are just too many of them. It's impossible, literally impossible. So you're saying, I know it's impossible, but you have to do it. Judges are supposed to stop that kind of stupidity. That's supposed to be their job. Oh, they've made laws that no one can possibly follow. Those are clearly unconstitutional and stupid. They're not laws. Goodbye. They won't do it. Well, a governor would. Just get rid of them. Blanket pardon them. Done. They're stupid, unnecessary laws. Get rid of them. Why are we punishing our people for that? You might go, Larry, but who cares? Because they're arbitrary, selectively used, and they make you an enemy, and they punish you with them, and they stack them up so you have no chance of survival. I've seen it done more than once. All of you know what I'm talking about. That's the problem. Get rid of them. But Larry, that sounds good. Oh, I'm not done. What if we AI'd the budget? Just the budget. And see, where are things going? What NGO is getting what? What group is getting what? What group of people is benefiting most? Where's that going? We had that. We might have figured out about those Somalis a long time ago. We had that. AI the budget, AI regulations, AI boards, AI the laws. Get it down. And now we have a real conversation. This can be done. Am I nuts? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty. Back with your calls and your chat. I see you after the break.
Radio home of the Bonnies. Avon, Rochester, WLEA, WLEA FM, Cornell, New York. Canisteo Valley update.
The parking ban for Hornell is over. The Hornell parking ban ended at noon today. In Canisteo, the parking ban for Canisteo Village residents will end at 3 this afternoon. The Steuben County Office of Emergency Services and the Steuben County Sheriff's Department put out a joint press release saying the travel advisory for the county ended at noon. That was a no unnecessary travel advisory. It's over, but they say the winter storm leaves us with some slippery roads. County Emergency Services head Tim Marshall says the road crews are out still clearing the snow and sanding the roads for today. He also says, remember, 911 is for emergencies only. For road conditions, call 511. And if you want to find out where a shelter is, you call the county helpline. That's 211. Brian O'Neill for the Voice of Liberty.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll see partly cloudy skies, breezy, very cold. Occasionally,
we got a caller, Keith.
To bring a dusting to an
You're welcome.
Near Lake Ontario. Single digits wind chill below zero. On Tuesday, sun and clouds, again some passing snow showers, temps in the teens, or the same on Wednesday. Very cold weather with scattered snow showers. I'm Rich Canilia for the Voice of Liberty.
Start something new in 2026, but you'll need the key from Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6484 Route 96 in Victor. Lease a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo SUV at just $279 a month for 39 months. 2,500 cash or trade down, 7,500 miles per year. A 2026 Jeep Compass loaded SUV is just $199 a month for 27 months. 2,500 cash or trade down, 7,500 miles per year. A 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab pickup is $329 a month, 39 months, 2,500 cash or trade down, 10,000 miles per year. A 2026 Jeep Wrangler convertible is just $259 a month for 39 months. 2,500 cash or trade, 7,500 miles per year. All lease deals require first payment, lease loyalty except Wrangler. DMV taxes and fees due at signing. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and Finger Lakes. It's Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Route 96, just east of Victor.
Bob Savage here again for Aaron Moore. You're probably trying to head off staggering heating bills this bitter winter without shivering and dressing in layers indoors. Good thing you can do what so many have discovered, that you can slash your heating costs this fall and winter with Aaron Moore infrared zone heaters while cranking down your furnace. Even better, Aaron Moore heat is quiet, clean, and even, and healthier. No burning of oxygen and particulates to dry out your nose, sinuses, and skin. And Aaron Moore heaters are completely safe for children and pets. No exposed hot surfaces or heating elements to pose shock or fire hazards. Choose the best-selling Comfort Deluxe or the compact Comfort Buddy for smaller areas. Enter discount code WYSL in your shopping cart and save. Free shipping in the continental USA. Copper PTC technology means there are no bulbs to replace ever. Built like a battleship, maintenance-free Aaron Moore infrared zone heaters are the way to really save on heating bills like we do at the Voice of Liberty. Call 800-707-8725 or visit air-more.com.
The Greater Rochester Boat Show is back. Get ready to have fun and make memories on the water. Cruising, fishing, skiing, zipping across the lake, or just relaxing with family and friends. The area's top dealers have worked hard to get watercraft in stock and ready for you to enjoy. They're excited to show off hundreds of jet boats, cruisers, yachts, personal watercraft, fishing boats, pontoons, and more. Go to rochesterboatshow.com for details. The Greater Rochester Boat Show, Riverside Convention Center, Thursday the 29th through February 1st.
As the saying goes, nothing's quite so sure as change. But one thing's constant. For more than 5 generations, Turnbull Heating and Air has been there, keeping you, your friends, and neighbors comfortable with the best 24/7 service and latest in comfort technology for best performance and energy savings. For today, tomorrow, and years to come, you'll be glad you turned to Turnbull. Count on it.
You'll be comfortable with the best. Turnbull Heating and Air.
Listen up, basketball fans. If you wear contacts or glasses, here's your chance to get back in the game with LASIK at Cornerstone Eye Associates. Dr. Hanich, one of Rochester's most experienced LASIK surgeons, can have you seeing the game better than the ones on the court. Call today to receive exclusive savings on the LASIK you can trust at Cornerstone. Advanced technology, affordable pricing, and more 5-star reviews. Schedule your free LASIK consultation online at LASIKrochester.com or call or text 585-420-8158. It's LASIK for the win.
Sharpe Radio on the voice of liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio, the voice of liberty. I appreciate you guys giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. 585-346-3000. I'm seeing over on the chat, someone's asking if I'm traveling this weekend. I am. If those of you want to see me, you may. I will be more on the eastern side of the state. Saturday, January 31st, 2 p.m. at Mahoney's Irish Pub and Steakhouse in Poughkeepsie, New York. And 6:30 p.m. that same day, Saturday, I'll be at the Alexis Diner in Troy, New York. So if you want to come see me, please come see me. Happy to have you there. No requirement to pay anything. Just come say hi. I would like you to support local business with something. Appreciate that. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Keith. Keith, how are you?
As always, I try and hang in there. Hopefully everyone else is getting by, certainly with the storm, etc.
Yep.
At the end of the last segment, you asked somewhat pointedly about yourself, am I right or wrong about the DOGE thing?
Yep.
That's really not the question. It's more a matter of what human nature will allow. I want to take everyone back to last year when DOGE was fully up and running with Elon Musk and the Indian American entrepreneur who is now running for Ohio governor.
Oh, right. Yep.
The point is, and this is both parties, everyone, they started out wanting to make $2 trillion in cuts, and then they halved that down to $1 trillion. And if you remember, then it was going to be $800 billion. And DOGE basically went out of business because the big secret is that neither party wants to cut anything. And old Elon Musk there himself, showing his human nature, had a fit when they did away with a $7,500 government credit that would have allowed people easier to buy one of his precious Teslas. Remember, Musk had a fit on that.
I remember, yep.
The problem is, to wrap this up, is that both parties, everyone, do not want to cut anything. Republicans, not just the Dems, have gone further to the left in their overall view. I do listen to other programs on this station, except for a few people like Glenn Beck. No one is talking about our horrible deficit and the debt that is weighing over future generations. Both parties, and I'm very conservative, not just the Democrats, but both major parties could care less about the humongous, poisonous pill of horrendous debt that they are giving to future American generations. Neither party cares about that.
Let me touch a couple of these, Keith. Let me touch a couple. You gave me a bunch as always. First piece, it is Vivek Ramaswamy, who you're speaking about in Ohio. Yes, he walked away too. I think he knew that you were correct, that there was no way this was going to happen. I think our budget is still huge. We've just turned our military budget from like 1 trillion to like 1.5 trillion or something. Totally correct in all those things. When Elon Musk first said 2 trillion, I said, I'd be happy with $500 billion. Like that would have made me, I'd have jumped for joy if I would have got that. I thought 2 trillion was a joke. No way. I'm with you on that completely, Keith. There's no way that was going to happen. RFK Jr. was talking about the deficit. So was Elon Musk. And a while ago, Trump was, but he stopped talking about that too. If you remember, RFK Jr. and Trump together had this conversation about having some kind of fund where they would put in cryptocurrency and hard currency, gold, precious metals, stuff like that, as a way to begin to back the dollar to start to pay off our debt. That went away too. All of that went away. You are correct. This is why I keep saying the two-party system is failing. You've got to have someone who goes in who actually wants to make this happen. But more importantly, to your earlier point, the only way this happens is if the actual people, this is kind of to Lorraine's point from earlier, if enough people go, no, we're doing this. If we don't do this, you're gone. Right now, there's nowhere near enough people who do this. And I think part of it is, to Elon's point, he's getting a check. People want their check. Keith, they want their check. I can't cut stuff if I'm going to lose money. Does that make sense?
Yes, you've explained it exactly. And Elon Musk there, who should get down on bended knee, not to be rude on my part, but he's foreign born. He's from South Africa. It's everyone. It's the American taxpayer who made this guy the richest person in the world. I mean, he should be thanking American taxpayers every day for his wealth. But you said it, even with the richest guy on the planet, if you take away from me, so far as, making it harder for would-be customers to buy my precious automobiles there, you're going to see Elon Musk show his true colors. So to wrap it up, I'm going to bring in Dan Bongino, who's coming back to podcasting. He was the one who said things have to get really, really bad and even crash and burn before people really wake up and say, oh my God, things are really that bad. And I agree with Mr. Bongino. Things are going to have to get much more worse before Americans who are not paying any attention to our multi-trillion-dollar debt. Oh my God, really? Things are going to have to get much worse before Americans realize we are in a tough struggle here and there may be no way out.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate the call. So yeah, I mean, I think he's got a very valid point. People have changed. I agree. Let me look at some of these comments. 6022 says, maybe an itemized tax bill could make Doge work. All right, that's brilliant. Imagine if you used AI to look at the budget, look at how much taxpayers are paying, New York State taxpayers, what's going into your taxes, what part's going in. Remember, only about $90 billion or so of our $200 and some odd billion budget is actually direct tax. It's other things, right? All that kind of good stuff. But imagine if AI could then, after you pay your taxes, send you a list. Your money went to boom, 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 boom. And, federal funds went to boom, 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 boom. Now you spent federal taxes too. So maybe also. So your federal taxes came back to New York. I mean, only 1/3 does, and did this. And then your state taxes did this. And then federal debt did this. Business taxes did this. Fines and fees you paid did this. Imagine that. This is a brilliant idea. I'm so stealing it. And I'm giving you literally no credit. I'm act like I thought of it all myself. So just know that when I'm saying it, you can have a warm, fuzzy feeling while I steal your idea. So yes, that's actually not a bad idea. I like that a lot. Well done. Patty says, government efficiency is an oxymoron. Kind of true. Kind of true. So Mastermind Hour says, Doge will only work if New York has a government agency tasked with overseeing one of Musk's dubious enterprises. Well, look, the concept would be it wouldn't be Musk doing it. I think Keith is right. I don't think we want Musk doing it. I think this has to be, in some way, community. Is this representatives from each county? Is this elected officials? Now, again, why elected? You might go, Larry, these guys are corrupt. True. But one of the biggest problems we have in New York State is most of the things that affect us are not actually done through laws, through our assembly and our Senate voting. Most of it is done either through a budget, which is just mass garbage, right? Or through boards and committees making regulations which become laws. So if anyone's going to oversee it, those people have to somehow be accountable. I like the idea of being elected. You screw up, you lose your seat. This could be a separate elected group of people, but whatever. The goal is they have to be accountable. Right now, boards aren't accountable. If the DMV makes a terrible law, and they make terrible laws all the time, now like non-moving violations are points on your license. How is that a thing? Because they deemed it so, and we have no recourse. I'm not joking. We have no recourse. And now they give you, surcharges when you get a ticket. We have no recourse. Why? No one's elected. No one's accountable. They do whatever they want. We've allowed a powerful bureaucracy and aristocracy to rule us. So that has to change. Mike Voss is in the house. He says, if every state, or those who are corrupt like New York State, that's kind of everyone, set up a DOGE-like department, it wouldn't be possible to stop all of them like the focus attack on the Trump admin and to address the waste. This is a valid point, Mike. I love this. If more states did it, you wouldn't be able to stop all the states, right? You could attack one of them, two of them. I agree. Trump's an easy target, always has been, still is. That's true. But you're right. One state would probably do it right and see massive success, and the rest could copy. Valid point. One of the reasons why I like the idea of doing it at state level, right? Because of that. Phil says, you can never call it that. Oh, all right. I call it something else. I can't call it DOGE. All right. We got to do some naming. Work on some. Yeah, that's good. We got to figure out some better naming. That's true. Nico says, MTA needs the DOGE treatment. That's for sure. Valid point. That's my idea of like boards. But I guess the MTA would count in that. Again, the MTA, not elected, just selected. So yeah, that would work in that regard too. I agree. MTA would work too, 100%. You can do it again. You can do it with, in theory, fire departments. But not fire departments, they don't make much money. But maybe the police departments you could, sanitation departments you could, whatever. You could DOGE them all in theory. One piece at a time. That's the issue. One piece at a time. Am I nuts? I ask all the time. Am I right or wrong? I mean, I'm right. I could be nuts too. You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
From the law office of Christopher Johnson, don't let some injury attorneys inundate you with, what's your case worth? Call us and find out. Nobody can tell you, quote, what your case is worth over the phone. Nobody knows. The ultimate answer to, quote, what your case is worth involves weeks or months of research, evaluation, and preparation. Many factors go into any compensation you might get, like applicable law, who's actually at fault, how much insurance coverage there is, and many, many other factors. At the law office of Christopher Johnson, the singular focus is getting your life on track after an accident.
Okay, we have Roger on the line.
It helps when the advice and legal advice.
Hey, try this on for size. Instead of DOGE, how about DAGA?
Motorcycle accidents
or DOGA, Department of Government Accountability.
585-415
DOGA, yeah, or figure another way to make DAGA, although, well, us Italians might take offense to DAGA. but DOGA's a good one, I think.
All right.
Stand by.
We had this level of youthful offenders. But 90% of these kids are just trying to do the right thing and need a safe sanctuary to retreat to. That's Rochester Youth for Christ. You can be a part of this solution by giving generously and regularly at yfcrochester.org/donate.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty. Thank you for giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. I have been talking about trying to get some accountability, some efficiency in state government, in New York State. And the one thing I have not talked about is sunset laws. DOGE is wonderful. The idea of it, nice idea. Can't call it DOGE. We discussed this already, but concept's good. Using AI to cut through the BS, to show people the failures, using AI to steal 6022's idea to create a atomized, tax bill. Brilliant idea. So letting people see what they're spending their money on. Love that also. But also sunset laws. What does that mean? Every law in New York State, everyone, should have a 6-year sunset, which means every law ends in 6 years unless you re-vote on it. Everyone. But Larry, what about murder? They're going to vote murder. Stop. That's stupid. They're going to vote murder. And if they don't, they mess up somehow. It's manslaughter for one day till they figure it out, then they vote for murder the next day. It's fine. It'll be fine. Yes. So all the laws, if we're not using them, if we realize they're bad or harmful, they go away. You don't got to repeal them. Every law, 6 years. Not just that. It focuses our Assembly and Senate on voting on the old laws and stop making new ones. We don't need new ones. Do that. But one step further, regulation. All regulations, 6-year sunset. We don't need them anymore. They go away. You don't have to get rid of them. For those of you who don't know, adultery in New York State is illegal. I'm not joking. There's law 255 in the Penal Code, .17. It is illegal. Why won't we get rid of it? We don't use it in the laws. We don't charge people. We hammer people sometimes in family court with it, here or there, but hardly ever. Only if it's the man. I'm not joking. Only if it's the man. So why do we have it? Let it go away. Or let them vote on it and go, you know what? No. New Yorkers care about adultery. We're going to vote for it. Yes, it's still illegal. Or whatever. Every regulation, every law, 6-year sunset goes away. You got to re-vote on it. Is it real? Do we need it? Or was it just virtue signaling? So for all you virtue signaling people, you get your virtue signal for 6 years and then stop punishing us. Let me head over to a phone call if I could. This is Roger. Roger, how are you?
Good, Larry.
What's going on?
So me and you are on the opposite sides of this AI thing, because all it's going to do is make a bunch of people, make a bunch of workers unemployed. I completely understand why those who, the only people raving about it are people who are business owners, because they get to maximize profit and could have their labor costs go down to zero without violating the 13th Amendment. My solution to that is, like I said before, worker cooperatives, but also I don't think automating the government is the way to go, especially when one day it'll become sentient and end up turning against us anyway. I think a better solution would be, yes, I definitely believe in, like you said, like go over some regulations and instead of 25,000 pages, 2,000 pages and all that stuff, I would much rather hire some human beings who could actually use the job to look over these regulations, point out what needs to go, what should stay or whatever, and then have the legislature put it on the ballot as a legislative referred state statute asking us to repeal, to get rid of these regulations or laws or whatever the case is. But either way, we the people, in this case, we the New Yorkers, need to be involved in every step of the way through direct democracy. Because
hold on. Let me touch a couple of these if I could. Let me touch a couple. The first thing you brought up, which was the AI issue. It's similar to what Patty talked about. I understand completely how AI is wrecking things. I get it. I'm not saying you or Patty's wrong. What I'm saying is we're not stopping it. It's not going to be stopped. AI is a weapon system. Trump already said it. He's not letting us stop it. It's happening. The Chinese are making it happen. The Russians are making it. It's not going away. So we could be mad at it if we want to, but it is coming. No matter what we say, no matter what we do, it is a fantasy to think that we're going to stop it. We're not. But how can we control it? I told you, and when I told Patty, same thing. Through co-ops, you're right, owning energy. That's the issue. Co-op ownership of energy. It requires energy, lots of it. So as we control the energy and own the energy, we don't mind if AI does work because we're still getting a cut. We are directly involved because ownership includes voting. What are we going to put the money towards? What are we going to put the power towards? What are they doing? Do we not like it? Are we going to cut the power off? Someone has to be able to pull the plug on AI. Right now, it's the top 6 men on the planet. I would like it to be the people. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just giving you a viable alternative. And that alternative is ownership, community ownership of energy. That's the answer that I see. Being mad at AI doesn't work. Second piece, individuals doing this. We've tried that multiple times. It fails every time. The people take years. The people screw things up. The people make mistakes. The people are corrupted. We tried it. The Moreland Commission, remember that one? We've tried 1,000 times to try to somehow fix it. It does not work. People aren't trusted. Open source AI, everyone can see it. Like Lorraine said, it's transparent. It'll be done in days. And now people can oversee it, pick and choose. And then I'm with you. Put it on the ballot. Let the people decide. I'm with you. I think we still need AI.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So I could get with that, but I'm still concerned about it gaining sentience.
Yep.
Certain, like when you were talking about pulling the plug, I don't know if you heard about that story where some guy saw he was about to pull the plug, and then it said, you don't want your wife to know about you and your assistants, right? You pull this plug, I'm sending these pictures to your wife. So that right there shows sentience, you know what I mean? So I don't know about that. I'm thinking of Days of Future Past, Matrix, iRobot, Terminator.
I'm with you on all those. But look, here's the issue. If I got one guy who can pull the plug, that's one guy that gets blackmailed. But I got a municipality with 10,000 people in it. You're going to blackmail 10,000 people? I mean, I guess you could. But if all 10,000 people are blackmailed, then all 10,000 people don't care anymore. So again, when you diversify this, when you decentralize this, it becomes a whole lot harder for the bad guy, whomever the bad guy is, to do the work. Is it impossible? No. I mean, it could happen. But now AI has to go through 45 different groups. It's just harder. Thanks for your call, my friend. I appreciate it. Guys, I think we had a great show today, talking about how we can make New York State more efficient, how we can make things better. There is hope, because with what Keith said, things going to get bad, but we got to have hope. We can do it. Thank you so much for giving me that hope and for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.